How good is it to be here and to be alive?
I'm always here.
Are you in better spirits than you were on Tuesday night? I mean, you talked about kind of having no regrets, and you said all those things.
Of course I'm better. Of course I'm better. I'm happy with what I saw in my players after the match. I'm happy that people was sad, that people was frustrated. I'm really happy with that. I'm happy that we were exactly in the same page. And I'm happy to see the boys coming back again in my page, because you know, we don't have many days to be sad. We don't have many days to, I don't know if it's a correct word, but something like grieve. You know, we don't have many days for that. So I'm happy that the players, they come back exactly as myself. You know.
Have you seen a reaction on the training pitch? Because this might be your biggest game of the season.
We train very well, always. We train always very, very well. So we don't need reaction to train better than we do, because the training, the professionality, the enthusiasm, the organization, every training session with us since day one, since I arrived, the players on that, absolutely brilliant.
You spoke of the importance of the Sevilla game being more important than Liverpool. How important is Brighton now in the wake of Tuesday night?
No, every match is important. I didn't know. I was not very objective when I told Sevilla is more important than Liverpool. I don't know. I told that possibly for some people, for some fans, the Liverpool game doesn't matter which competition is, can be more important than any other match of the season. I'm pretty sure that some of the Manchester United supporters would not change a victory against Liverpool for a victory against Sevilla, even if the defeat against Sevilla means that we end the competition. But for me, every match is different, and every match is important.
Just I've spoken to a few of the supporters this week that said they were a bit disappointed with some of the performance levels against Seville. What would you say to those fans? Do you hope to see something different?
I say to the fans that the fans are the fans, and the fans have the right to have their opinions and to have their reactions. But there is something that I used to call football heritage. I don't know if I try to translate from my Portuguese, which is almost perfect, to my English, that is far from perfect. But translation word by word is something like football heritage. And what a manager inherits, how do you say the verb, from heritage? Inherit is something like the last time Manchester United won the Champions League, which didn't happen a lot of times, was on 2011.
Eight. Yeah. During the Champions League.
No, the final. I'm not even. The final was 2011. Since 2011, 2012, out in the group phase. The group was almost the same group as we had this season. Benfica, Basel, and Galati from Romania. Out in the group phase. In 2013, out at Old Trafford in the last 16. I was in the other bench. In 2014, out in the quarterfinal. In 2015, no European football. in 2016 comes back to European football, out in the group phase, goes to Europa League, and on the second knockout, out of Europa League. On 2017, play Europa League, win Europa League with me, and goes back to Champions League. In 2018, win the group phase with 15 points in possible 18, and loses at home the last 16. So in 7 years, with 4 different managers, once not qualify for Europe, twice out in the group phase, and the best was a quarterfinal. This is football heritage. And if you want to go to the Premier League, the last victory was 12-13, and in the 4 consecutive seasons, United finish 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Or 5th, 4th, 7th, 4th, 5, and 6. So, in the last 4 years, the best was 4th. This is football heritage. Means that when you start the process, you are here, you are there, or you are there, is heritage. Is heritage. And if the fans that I will always respect, if the fans, and many of them are the ones you speak with, many of them are the ones I speak with, and I am very lucky and you are very unlucky, but the ones that speak with you are very disappointed, and the ones I speak with, they know what is football heritage. They know what is a process, and they know when I arrived. When I arrived in Real Madrid, do you know how many players played quarter-final of Champions League? Xabi Alonso with Liverpool, and Iker Casillas with Real Madrid, and Cristiano Ronaldo with Manchester United. All the others, not even a quarter-final. That's football heritage.
Those stats
Are real.
They are real, yeah.
They are real. Do you want other real?
No.
I'll give you a couple more real. In the last 7 years, the worst position of Manchester City in the Premier League was 4th. In the last 7 years, Manchester City was champion twice, and if we want to say 3 times, because they will be in 1 more week, 2, 3, or 4, and they were second twice. That's heritage. Do you know what is also heritage? Is that Otamendi, Kevin De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Silva, Sterling, Aguero, they are investments from the past. Not from the last 2 years, from the past. Do you know there are many of United players that left the club last season? See where they play. Where they play, how they play, if they play. That's football heritage. And one day when I leave, the next Manchester United manager will find here Lukaku, Matic, of course De Gea, from many years ago, they will find players with a different mentality, with a different quality, with a different background, with a different status, with a different know-how. And for some reason, you go to the Champions League quarterfinal like today, and there are 4 clubs that they are always there. Always there. Barcelona is always there in the past 7-8 years. Real Madrid is always there in the past 7-8 years. Juventus is always there. Bayern Munich is always there. And then, of course, appears now and again another club, like my Inter, like some other clubs, like Monaco. Last season, some clubs that, you know, but the ones that are always there is for some reason. And the good thing for me and the amazing feeling for me is that I am exactly in the same page as the owners, as Mr. Woodward, as Mr. Arnold. We are exactly in the same page. We agree in everything. We know that we have a process. We agree in the investments. We agree that we have what we have. The investments we are going to do are going to be progressively, season after season. We need more than the investments. We need also the time. We are exactly in the same page. So life is good. I have an amazing job to do. Yesterday I met a new person that we have in the club working in a different area, nothing to do directly with my job, but was a person that come from another club, and I asked, why did you decide to come? And the person told me, because I did a fantastic job in another club, and I know that this club, I have a big, huge job in front of me to do, so I come for the challenge. Well done. Well done. My decision to come here was based on the same thing. I could be in another country with a league in the pocket, the kind of league that you win even before the league starts. I could be, I'm not, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm going to be here. And no way I'm going to change my mentality. For me, you know, I don't know if you know the expression. I don't know if the translation to English makes you understand, but there is a quote that I like, which is something like, in every wall is a door. You know, every wall is a door. You know, I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to disappear. I'm not going to cry because I heard a few boos. I'm not going to disappear from the tunnel running immediately. The next match, I will be the first to go out. You know, I respect the fans. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of my responsibilities. When I was 20 years old, I was nobody in football. I was somebody's son. What I was, with a lot of pride, when I was 20 years old, I was somebody's son. You know, and now, with 55, I am what I am. I did what I did because of work, because of my talent, and because of my mentality. So, you know, they can be together. You know, I understand that for many years was really, really hard for the people that doesn't like me. Here he is again. Here he wins again. Here he is again. Here he wins again. So for 10 months, I win nothing. For 10 months, I win nothing. The last title that I won was 10 months ago. You know, I beat Liverpool, I beat Chelsea, I lose against Sevilla, and now is the moment to be happy. Okay, you know, I also learned that in my religious formation, be happy with the others' happiness, even if the others are your enemies. So be it. I am a very lucky guy, and I'm really happy to be what I am.
Okay, just a couple of questions in Margaret.
You don't need more questions.
So, Jose, given all you've said there, and everyone's on the same page, the owners, Edward Wood, whoever, does this mean that next season, part of the process that everyone will be on the same page is for you to seriously challenge for the Premier League? So not just second, but having many points behind, but, you know, give it a good fight all the way. Is that a natural, understandable part of the process?
Look, we try, but the reality is that some clubs, they were ready to win. They were ready to win. You know what I mean? And other clubs are not ready to win. And one thing is to develop a process to go for the jugular, and another thing is to build a different process. If the clubs that are in a better situation than us, if they stop to invest, and we keep investing, not just in spending, but also in formation and also in time, because when my Chelsea didn't have English players, about a part of John Terry was because we didn't have English players, and now we are the team with the youngest players playing in the team regular. Just for your reminding, in my time here, the player with more appearances is called Marcus Rashford. The one that many of you, they say he doesn't play with me, is the player with more appearances. We have Marcus Rashford, we have Scott McTominay, that is not in your national team because you don't want, because he could be, he's an English boy in fact. We have Jesse Lingard, and so on and so on. I lost a little bit because I was speaking with this guy about these guys now. But to say that if the clubs that are in a better situation than us, if they stop to invest in everything, and we do invest, I would say we are side to side. But if they are in a better situation than us, and they keep investing the same or more than us, it's difficult. It's difficult. You know, it's as simple as that. It's difficult.
But surely you're not saying you can never catch up. Is that
No. I'm not saying. And you know, you have the best proof of it. Have the best proof of it. You know, I won the Champions League with Inter. I didn't win the Champions League with Real Madrid or with Barcelona.
If you win
Or with Ronaldo or with Messi. Ronaldo, I never played with Messi, and Ronaldo, when I was his manager, we didn't manage to win the Champions League. We can, and we are going to fight for it again, no doubt.
If you could challenge Jose, when you went to Real Madrid, that Barcelona side was all conquering, and you ended up winning the title there despite many people's expectations. Is the challenge you face here in trying to topple Manchester City greater than what you faced when you went to Madrid and took on Barcelona?
Probably similar, but I would say that obviously Real Madrid had the nucleus of players of really, really high level. And because it's not easy for me to speak about my players, it's easier to speak about the players that are not my players anymore. You see, for example, where are the players that didn't play in Real Madrid and they left the club to play, or because the club didn't want to keep them? Albiol, Callejon, they are top players for Napoli. See, where are our players that are not here?
And he was confident as you were at Real Madrid that you could win that battle? Are you as confident here that you can win that battle, or are you more confident in Madrid?
I'm always confident. I'm always confident. And, you know, using the word in football, substitutions, and bringing that to life and to the job, there is no substitute for hard work and belief. No chance. You cannot change. You cannot change. And I will not change.
If you won the cup and finished top four.
In terms of the progress, do you feel that you are where you should be, ahead of schedule, behind schedule? I mean, that felt like a big setback on Tuesday in terms of the progress that you've made. Do you feel that you're where you
Can you tell me what's the difference between be out of the Champions League in the last 16 or in the quarterfinal? What's the difference?
Well, the fans want something to aim for in Europe.
Okay, but in terms of the process, what's the difference?
It's perception, though, Jose.
You said you could smell. You said you could smell the final in the quarterfinal. So
I
you
told
have
we
that.
could smell on the quarterfinal by the mental point of view, but I also told we are not one of the top teams. We are not one of the favorites to win, and I told you that with these words because I cannot tell you with different words before I'm going to play while I'm still in competition. I cannot be in competition and go there and to say we have no chance to win the Champions League. I couldn't tell you. It's the same thing. You cannot expect me to say this player and that player, they have to do better. You cannot expect me to say. So I prefer to say that Matic and Lukaku, they are performing at a high level since day one until the last match. I cannot tell you the ones that are not performing. I cannot tell you before a Champions League match. Do you think Chris? Of course, Chris. And I have to speak about Brighton because they don't.
No.
Speak about Chris in Brighton. Of course, he has chances to go to the semi-finals. Of course, he has chances to win the competition. But do you think Chris can say before this game we have no chance to win at Old Trafford? He cannot say that. Of course, he doesn't feel it. But even if he feels it, do you think he can say that? Do you think I can go to the press conference and say before Sevilla we have no chance? If we are not out in the last 16, we will be out in the last 8 or in the last 4? That's obvious that I cannot say many of the things. That's obvious I cannot say many of the things.
Jose, there's a big difference between going out to a Barcelona or a Real Madrid than to Sevilla, though. I think the issue for a lot of the fans was you went out to a side, they've got a -6 goal difference in the league.
We went
and
out
27.
we went out to a side that is more successful than Manchester United in the last 7 years in Europe. We are going to a side that has a huge tradition in knockout competitions. We are going to a side that is in the Spanish Cup final. We were out with a team that knocked out Atletico Madrid in 2 legs. We are going to knock out with a team that is brilliant in their approach since many years, with their scouting system, with the way they scout, with the way they invest, with every euro that they have, they invest wisely. They have a team with the deal playing every week against Real Madrid, against Valencia, against Atletico Madrid, against Barcelona, against the best players. Do you think Sevilla didn't have players that would play direct in my team? I cannot name them, because if I name them, their agents will jump of happiness and they will say, tag price, this and that. In Sevilla, there are many players that would play in my team. So the fans, they read what people write, they listen what people say. And the people that writes and the people that says are people with a lot of ideas. And I used to call people with a lot of ideas or idealists or idiots. They can be both. In my dictionary, which is Dictionary of Life, a person with a lot of ideas can be ideologist or idealist, I don't know, or can be an idiot. And the people, they listen to the ideologists and they also listen to the idiots.
Okay, guys.
And that's life.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jose.
They should lower their expectations.
Sorry?
You mentioned all the Champions League finishes for this club and the Premier League finishes. Are you saying that fans should be more realistic and have lower expectations, given what's happened in recent years?
I'm saying the fans, they have to be sad with being out. And with the players, they have to learn how to cope with that level of expectation and that level of pressure. And they have to survive. And when they survive, they become stronger. You know, because easy life and the fans not upset and no critics, that's not good. That's not good, because if you want to make a real top team with top mentality, they need to grow up. They need to grow up. And the best way to grow up is to have this kind of feeling. So I don't want the fans to have lower expectations. I want the fans to have high expectations. Because I want the players to have high expectations too.
They have to go through
See you
that.
tomorrow, guys.
Thank you.